Ash, man, is in. Oh, somebody's handling business. I bet that's Laura. Thank you, Laura.
Hey there, man.
Brother, how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, dude?
I'm good. I apologize ahead of time for having something in my mouth. I got lozenges. I got my tissues. So forgive me for sniffing and drooling, everyone. Hey, what's up, brother? How are you doing?
Good, dude. How you doing?
I'm
Besides
good.
the
Mom,
sniffles
you
and
got.
stuff.
I'm good,
Oh,
man.
I'm all snuggly and warm, but I have my Ginn Project under, so I'm
Nice.
good to go.
Good to go. You're good to go, Haley.
nice.
Well, Haley, I know that last year you weren't able to make it because you had other engagements. I think you were
I
at the
had to
North
go.
Pole helping Santa Claus, if I'm not mistaken. I believe
I
that you flew to
was
the North Pole last year and you were helping Santa Claus and the elves get the sleigh ready, so you weren't able to make the show. But this year, you were
this
able to
year.
be
I
here.
changed plans
Yes.
with my mom, and I'm like, what would I rather do? Be at home in the what I call Boringville, or work with you? And I said, Mom, I have to help my friend out and introduce.
And look, Haley, I know that the person that is coming on today you really like, and you were looking forward to introducing them. So you made it you changed your plan so you could be home this evening to announce our
Yep,
guest tonight.
I'm leaving tomorrow.
She sure did. She turned the flight around, told them they had to come, told
Oh,
Santa
trust
Claus and the
me.
reindeer that they had to go back to the North Pole until tomorrow. She had stuff to do.
You guys, thank goodness I'm not riding the Polar Express right now.
Right?
Remember
Yeah.
last year I was sleeping.
Yep. Hey, Spurs.
So
So Haley, are you ready? Are you ready, Haley? Are you nervous?
not at all.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Make it happen, Haley.
Hi, welcome to the Ginn Project Show. My name is Haley Beth, owner of Haley Dot. I'm a diamond dot artist. I have a show every Friday night at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight we're going to have a guest from the land down under, Spurs. Take it away again, and if I don't see you guys on Friday, you know I'm... Because you guys missed my show, so you guys deserve...
Yes, we did, Haley.
You
I'm
guys
sorry.
deserve to go to the North Pole and go see the Grinch.
Oh no, we have been banished to Whoville to go see the Grinch.
First, did I do good for my first time?
You did good, Haley. You did real good. Thank you, Haley. Don't forget, y'all, Haley is a diamond dot artist, and she also has a show on Friday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern time. It's a lot of fun. You can usually catch us hanging out over there. And Haley, thank you very much. Appreciate you, Laura. If you could, throw Haley out. There she goes. There she goes. Appreciate you. It'll happen. There we go. Thank you, Laura. Ash, man, that was great. I like that.
It was. She did a great job. She always does,
ready.
though.
She was ready. I love that lady. She's awesome. So, forgive me, y'all. I got lozenges in my mouth. I got a bit of a cold. I got a little runny nose. We're going to try to make it happen. If I drool on myself, I did take some cold medicine in hopes of it not being too bad. So I might forget who I am and why I'm here and why y'all are in my living room. But we're gonna do the best we can here.
I don't know. I used to do late nights with you all the time. I'm used to seeing you drooling.
Right? Just delirious, just
Just
wandering
wandering
around.
around. Yeah.
What you got going on, man? I'm loving the shirt.
Oh yeah. Little sis fist action going on. Never give up. Hell yeah.
Never, ever, ever give up.
Exactly, man.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna. I'm just pushing buttons, buddy. I'm sorry I
All right.
interrupted you.
That's okay. I've just been working around the house pretty much, doing things in domestic stuff, like rearranging the studio, making sure everything's ready in the front room for
Did,
the holidays, that
did you
sort
go
of
in the
thing.
closet? Did you go in the
I
closet?
did, dude. I actually removed the table saw, and I removed the drill press, and I removed this huge rack full of tools, and they're all in the shed. Now the shed's one of those things that can take anything. So it's got all kinds of stuff in there now.
Are you doing that to put me out of business? Is that what's about to happen? Are you about to take up
Oh
woodworking
no.
too?
Oh no. That's why it's going to
Oh, I
the
thought maybe
shed.
you were setting up a shop. I was like, all right,
No, no,
cool. Well, this will
no.
be the last Ginn Project Show, y'all. It was a lot of fun. Ash fans taking over. No, I'm teasing.
I'm not making anything like you are. I'm making Les Pauls.
That's awesome. Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
But pretty much just doing that, and then working on the podcast, which is Ashman's Basic Podcast and Genteel Poverty. So I'm working on both those again.
Excuse me.
Those will be
Where
rolling
can they
out in
find those?
those will be rolling out in January again. We're going to start that up, and they're on anywhere that you can get podcasts. So
Except,
Amazon, except for Pandora, and they know what they did.
yeah, they know. You know what you did, Pandora. You know what you did.
Exactly.
So 2 podcasts, and every once in a while you're on live too. So
I do. If you set your, notifications on
notification.
for me, I might pop up sometime. I don't know. You might
Heard that.
catch me.
May very well catch him. Well, I thought today before Spurs came on, we'd go over a bunch of stuff that we've been working on. Guitar related stuff, Laura and Rachel related stuff, merch stuff, all of it. Just kind of go through it a little bit and see where we end up. I know that S.A. has her guitar and is currently working on it. I will be driving down to Atlanta with my wife on Monday with a neck for the guitar, and she's going to put a little paint on that neck once it's mated with the guitar, and then I'm going to bring the whole thing back and probably have to clear coat it and figure out, from there.
Nice.
So
It is
MC,
looking
how's it
amazing.
going?
I got to see it right before I popped on here. It's
Pretty cool, man.
phenomenal.
It's pretty cool. So hello to everyone. Thank you for coming in and joining us. We appreciate it. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Firstborn, MC. I know that T was in here. E, what are you doing, Eve? How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Laura Jane's in here. The great Severed Art, who I'm going to talk about a little bit. Corey, good to see you, buddy. Amber, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Happy Accidents by Chad was in here. Good to see you, buddy. Hope everybody's doing okay out there. Thank you, everybody, for stopping through. Always good to see you. We've had a lot going on here lately. Hey, Kira, good to see you as well. And for those that don't know, Laura and Rachel have taken over. Basically, they have started the process of taking over the running of the social media function and the media stuff of the Ginn Project, and some of the fundraising stuff that we're working on as well. Thank you, Moose. Good to see you. So they have set up this cool system. It's the Ginn Project official at the Gmail place, and everything goes through that now. If it has anything to do with me at all, or any of the projects that we're working on, then it goes to the Ginn Project official. And that is if you want to purchase a guitar, if you want to put your art on a guitar, if you want to be on the Ginn Project Show, if you need access to some of the stuff, materials, because you've been on the Ginn Project Show, all of that. As Laura said, if you go look at the very first link in my link tree, all you gotta do is click on that. Just the basic information, your email address and your name that you want to be called, and a little message in the message box of what it's related to. So I wanted to, Laura is currently, juggling a whole lot of different things. So I wanted to say a special thank you to Laura. I appreciate it. I also know that Laura had a loss recently, and I'm very sorry, Laura. I'm glad that you are a part of things and are helping out, and helping out is an understatement to say the least.
Oh yeah.
She's been modding for A.S.H, man, and I and Chad and others for a long time. Hey Eric, good to see you, man. And she is kind enough to take on a much bigger role. So she has access to all information Ginn Project, as well as Rachel does, and A.S.H man always has. So I also wanted to say a special thank you to Kira, who has been a huge help behind the scenes. She is an amazing counselor. I'm talking in terms of counsel, like like the professional kind that we all need. So a big thank you to Kira. The way all of that looks currently is, every time that someone is sick or there's a problem or an accident or something happens and there's a need to raise money, these incredible artists on this platform, how to pick out a fucking tree. The incredible artists on this platform always come forward and want to help in whatever the way that they can, and oftentimes that comes in the form of art. So what we hope to do long term is establish something like a web page, essentially, that's a sales page. And it would have access to all the stuff that was donated, prices. You click on it, order it, it would go where it was supposed to go, and all the requisite information happens. But in order for that to happen, you basically need an LLC or a nonprofit or a combination of that. You need a professional business bank account, which takes a certain amount of money just to start the account and have it open and get the checkbooks and all of that. You need somebody that's willing to take the responsibility of the tax issues that are involved, and with oversight of the money, with transparency. So those aren't things that can happen overnight or in a week or in a month. Those are the things, if they're going to get put together properly, it takes time. So that's what slowly but surely we're working towards. Right now, Laura and Spurs have kind of been trying to get up to speed on just day-to-day Ginn Project stuff, the show stuff that we do, the interviews that we do, and the guitars that we make, the other merch lines that we have. A big thank you to Laura and to Rachel, and it couldn't come at a better time. They're amazing for helping out, and I think everyone in the community is going to benefit from their efforts behind the scenes. They're not going to get a lot of credit for it. Nobody sees them doing what they're doing. But we're doing things like setting up the capability of having merch lines that if someone is in need, we can put a call out to artists and ask them to create art. And we have the capability of turning that into a merch line for people. And the reason I think that is a good idea is because a lot of the times bad diagnoses or accidents or things like that come with long-term financial problems, or long-term financial implications, I should say. It isn't, yes, and Spurs, just background lighting. It isn't always prominent, right? It isn't always an expected thing. Like, all of us are literally one medical emergency away from disaster. That's just the state that we live in this country. That's just the way it is. My hat is off to those ladies. It's going to take some time to set that up. More immediately, we've had some donations recently and some stuff being made for Chad. Chad has had to step away for a bit. He needs to focus on his health and well-being. So what we are doing is we are gathering that information. Anybody that made stuff for that or wanted to donate stuff for that, if you go to the Ginn Project official, let us know in the message section, and all of that is being gathered. And then when they're able to handle it, when they don't have as much on their plate, then we will forward that to him and his wife, and make sure they get it all. But for now, I would hold off on sending anything. Please don't send anything physical. Don't like try to mail art to his house. That would just be more stuff for him to deal with. And he lives on a farm. Where's he going to store it? So at any rate, maybe take the holiday season off, put a pause on things, and give them time to take care of things they need to take care of. And then if anything comes to us, anything that is forwarded to us, we will make sure that we gather it all together and get it to them. And moving forward in the future, what we're working on, like I mentioned, putting in place is an apparatus that can handle such things. So the next time that there's a need in the community and we got to rally everybody, we already have something in place that will take care of turning the artwork into something that you can help people pay bills with. Hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions, all you got to do is go to the Ginn Project Official at Gmail, and it will that message will be seen by somebody. If you have been sending me messages through TikTok anytime in the last 2 years, there is a very good chance I haven't seen them. What I did for a long time is I just opened messages and closed them because I would have hundreds on my thing. So these ladies are helping to sort through that as well, and I'm grateful for that. So hopefully everybody will get a quicker response that is accurate and in line and on time. So that's the plan. The other thing that I've done is I dropped the TeePublic account. So all of the merch through the Ginn Project is now in the hands of small businesses or individual people. So all of the apparel will be going through Live, Laugh, and Offend, just as it has been, the hats and the Ginn Project shirts and stuff. Everything else is going to be handled by Rachel. So whatever system she puts in place, whatever she wants to use, do herself, or contract with other people to do, she has carte blanche to do whatever she dreams up. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that gets any merch that sells involved with the Ginn Project, whether it be philanthropy stuff or the Ginn Project logo. At least people that own small businesses will be the ones making a little something from it. So I'm happy about that. Hey, My Spot, how are you doing? I want to say a special thank you to Chris Major out there. The hat that I'm wearing, she made one for me and for my wife, and I absolutely cannot wait till Christmas time each year so that I can wear it. So thank you, Chris. Excuse me. I'm sorry. So thank you, Chris. I appreciate the hat, my friend. We also have a product line going with Severed Art. I don't know. Some of you may have seen the stuff that Severed has been working on. She's doing herb strippers like these, and guitars, charcuterie boards, and other shaped charcuterie boards, and some other stuff. We're about to do some other stuff this coming year. So
if you haven't seen her stuff,
oh man,
you have not seen her stuff, which I doubt most of you have, right? Amazing. I'm lucky enough to have this piece. And that stuff's on Ginn's charcuterie stuff and herb strippers. And they're freaking phenomenal.
Man, it's just crazy. I get to work with you guys, man. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. So there is a whole lot of products that Severed has been working on. They're typically kitchen type stuff. I think this coming year, her and I might do some art kind of stuff together. I might do some little different shaped things and send them to her. So we'll see what's. Hey, Johnny Ray, how are you, love? Good to see you, Johnny Ray. Johnny Ray, to my understanding, is home and recovering, and that is awesome. Kira has a butterfly herb puller from Severed. It's amazing. That's amazing. That's just crazy. Like, we have a herb puller in Vermont now, or wherever the hell it is up there in Canada. Where she live? Kira in Canada or something? Newfoundland? I don't know. So, check that out. Please go check out what Severed's got going on. She is an amazing artist, and I am so very fortunate to get to work with such an incredible human being and just such a wonderful artist. So, it is suddenly fun to do those again. Full disclosure, those were things that I would do in my off time, because they were stuff that we would sell in an installation that we had years ago with a friend of mine, and Severed started putting art on them, and it made it a whole different thing. Now it's amazing. So I love it. Yeah, Kira, I just, my medicine brain kicked in, and I wasn't supposed to know if I was supposed to say what state you were in or not. So I just redirected. I redirected myself, Kira. Hey, Moose. We also have Spurs behind the scene doing some amazing work for the guitars that come out. Spurs is going to be handcrafting the straps. And on those straps, for all the artists that feel like participating, there will be patches of their logos that go with the guitars as they go out. And that will also be that's another small business, Spurs, that will be handling that. So I think that's awesome. I think the art on the guitars is collaboration with the artists. And the artists have carte blanche to do what they want. And so I was going to address one more thing, and well, a few more things, but one is we've had several people contact us to want to do custom guitar orders. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do custom guitar orders right now, and there's many, many reasons for it, but one of which is we're doing these live, and these will be the first Ginn Project guitars. So these guitars are going to be the ones that are on all the media stuff, the web page, all of those kind of things. And what I wanted was a pure representation of the artists and their artwork. Whereas if they were doing a custom piece for somebody else, then that's the artist's rendition of someone else's idea. And if we ever get to that, it would be some years, but if we ever get to that, that is a whole different thing than what they're working on right now. So, what up, Flex? Cleanest man on the TikTok right there. So, there's a lot of reasons for it, but the way it's going to work is as guitars get completely finished, there will be an email list, the Ginn Project official. The people that sign up to that first will be placed in order. And those people will be, the guitar will be made available to those people first. So if you are on the email list for the guitars, it doesn't mean you have to buy the guitar. It just means you will be part of the group that has the very first option on it. After that, it'll be made available throughout social media and on the websites and all of that. So that's how it's going to work. If you would like to get your artwork on a guitar, the Ginn Project Official at Gmail. And there is a list already forming for that. So there will be very few guitars that are outside of the group of people that are doing them, a whole line of them. So Ashman's doing a line of them. S.A. is doing a line of them. Severed is doing a line of them. Eve's Artistry is involved in doing a line of. So there is, 4 or 5 artists that will take the majority of the stuff that I'm going to be able to produce. There might be 1 or 2 left over on occasion that we'll be able to get to other artists. There are also some other artists that we have already committed to do at least one guitar with. And those people will be getting their guitars too. Folks like Kira Wilson and Eric and some others. So, and Kira does whatever she wants. So Kira could have however many she ever wanted to do. But we would be lucky and thrilled to have her just, I don't know, put some paint on one and send it to Ash and he'll finish it. It's cool. I'm kidding, Ash. I'm kidding, man.
No way.
Ash, we're going to need you to do whimsical little rabbit on a... Maybe that's a bad strategy.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in putting art on a guitar, please, the Ginn Project official, let us know and we'll get you on the list. If you're interested in being a guest on the Ginn Project Show, please send something to the Ginn Project official at Gmail, and that will be sorted by the requisite Laura and Rachel and get where it needs to go. I believe that is the majority of the announcements that we had. I know that the other ones, there is Flex on December 27th with Mo and Eric. That is a Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. They're going to be on together. So it's going to be Monique, Eric the Airbrush Artist, and Flex are all going to be on together. Yeah, Flex, you know you're already on the list, my man. You are already on the list, my guy. So December 27th at 6 p.m. Now, usually I do Saturdays with Severed and A.S.H. So that's going to be after we're on. So we'll be able to tell you all about it and remind you all about it because Flex, Mo, and Eric are going to be doing their thing. So make sure to check that out. Also got Josh and Pam over there doing their thing on December 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern, Central Standard Time. And they've got an event going on over there. So get up with Josh or Pam and ask them about what they got going on. Thank you, Flex. And man, I made it through the announcements.
You didn't even cough that much.
I didn't think, man, I'm going through some lozenges though. I didn't think my voice was going to make it. So, tonight, the guest that we have on is Spurs. And for those that don't know, I'm pretty fond of Spurs. She's a friend of mine. And she's all the way on the other side of the world. So each year, last year we were excited to have her on. It was her first time on, of course. It was our first year. And it was 9.5 months we waited to get. We could have had a baby in the time that we waited to get Spurs on the show. So... And Haley wasn't able to be here. She was traveling with Santa Claus. So this time Haley literally told Santa Claus he's got to wait till tomorrow because I'm announcing Spurs. But as I mentioned earlier, Spurs is heavily involved with the Ginn Project. She's making straps that are going to go with each guitar and all of that. Spurs is also one of the people that I can have conversations with when we're trying to figure out some kind of strategic type things. Hey, thank you, Kat. Good to see you. And Spurs is also one of the primary mods, like Laura, that pretty much runs the show. Because I do stuff in the middle of the night, that's the evening, for Spurs. So when she gets off work, she's able to babysit Ginn for a couple hours with Laura. And, it's her way of slowing her day down. After she's wrangled horses and saved babies and, inoculated kittens or whatever. Yeah. Put out forest fires, all of the shit she does. So, you too, Kat. You too. I'm looking forward to having her on tonight. She's got a lot going on. We'll talk a little bit about the guitar stuff and the patches, and we'll talk about her art and about her life and about what her life's been like recently. She's been running from fires. She's been evacuated. She got a call that said she was in the "it's too late to evacuate" zone. Imagine getting that call.
Yeah.
And you got people you care about around. So, absolutely, Kat. So, hey, Jim. So, looking forward to having her on tonight. I was glad that Haley was able to get here and announce her. And, Ash, man, Spurs. What do you think, man?
She's one of the best mods, and she's a great artist. And I'm so lucky to have her as a mod because she does heavy lifting once in a while with my mouth running.
She grabs him by the collar and escorts him to the door, man. I've seen
she does, right? Yeah.
I've seen her grab a group of them.
Oh, yeah. When they're flying through, yeah. No doubt. She's amazing. And great person, too. And kind.
Mondo. Thank you, Mondo.
It's weird, all that in one person. Weird.
Yes. It's kind of like this community, right? Like, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of really kind people in this damn community. there's some people like Mondo, and then there's some nice people. No, teasing Mondo. I'm kidding, y'all. Mondo is an absolutely lovely human being. I'm only teasing. Don't send me hate mail. I really like Mondo a lot, y'all. Don't. It's okay. It's okay. Laura's shaking her head. It's okay, y'all. Really, Mondo's art is hanging right there, y'all. I mean, it's right over my head. Like, he's right there. So, we actually like Mondo. We actually like almost everybody. What's up, A.S.H? So, if Spurs is in here, please raise your hand, Spurs. And if you are a mod named Laura or somebody like that, could we please? Yes, Mondo can stay for sure. Can we please send Mrs. There she is. If somebody can grab her and send her up here, we're gonna get a mic check. Make sure that it works.
Well, good morning. We'll do a mic check first.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, it is
Sound
good
good?
morning for me. Yep, we're sounding good. Good morning and happy holiday season, everybody. From the land down under, we are on Christmas Eve.
How about that?
Welcome to my lovely room once again. I'm glad to do the Christmas wrap-up with you all. It's been a whole 364 days since I've seen you all. Well, or since you've seen me, but hey, it is what it is. We are doing the lovely Christmas Eve wrap-up with you guys, which is wonderful. We have come another whole year around, and there have been so many advances in everyone's art, and it's amazing to see.
Yes.
Thank you, Seven.
That's a good point.
It has been an absolutely amazing year. I have seen people come, I have seen people go, I have seen people join the community and join our family and have just slotted straight on in there and done well. Well, as far as today is, it's 115 degrees already, and it was 110 degrees at 6 a.m. this morning. So we are on our way to a scorcher today. So bear with me if I have to grab a drink from behind me. It is absolutely amazingly hot today. I've even kept the overhead lights off because it is very warm in here.
You recently got a phone call that told, or a text. I don't know how it happened, but you got a message that told you not only was there a fire, but it was too late for you to evacuate. What does one do when they get that kind of a message?
When they get that kind of message, when they live in a cul-de-sac, when you are literally, you have one way in your street and one way out, and there is only a line of houses before there is farmland and bushland, you leave. If you can leave safely, you leave, and you go about your day and you go, I'm glad I made it out. But in my case, it was, I could see the smoke really quite clearly. We were actually engulfed in smoke. There was a photo that I put up from the street taken behind me, and my house was covered in smoke. At that stage, I really did have to leave. I had no choice. I do have an 86-year-old grandmother who I care for, who I am her lifeline, basically. She doesn't drive anymore. So in my car I got with my 17-year-old son, I told him to put his seatbelt on as we were driving out the driveway. And I'm just saying to him, just don't look back, don't look back, don't look back, and let's go. We just can't look back. So we're in the car, we're driving through our neighborhood pretty quickly because we're trying to exit our neighborhood. There is one entrance into our neighborhood and one exit out of our neighborhood, the same one. So and you can imagine a whole heap of people trying to get out in a hell of a hurry, and most of them were actually stupidly heading towards the fire to see what was going on. The worst mistake they could have made. Well, my aim was to actually get out of here and head to the east by about 1 kilometre to pick up my grandmother, get her out of the smoke zone because she has COPD. She cannot breathe in this horrific smoke. Now, we have what they call wattle forests here. Well, it's not forest, it's wattle bushland. And wattle, when it's burning, it is acrid. It chokes you. The minute that you put fire to it, it's like Arizona pines going up all at once, and it's just hell. And it's hot, it's fast moving, there's no way to stop it. So we were quite lucky that we had aerial bombers at our disposal, but sadly they take time to get motivated, they get time to be lifted into the air, they have to go through all the things of shutting everything else down. There's no other planes allowed to fly at the same time. So we're driving through our neighborhood and we're watching people out there filming the fire, like mobile phones out, just filming the fire, like no worries at all, not realizing they're breathing in this toxic air. So I'm getting to my grandmother's house. I'm watching my 24-year-old daughter run across the paddock to unrug horses, because we also have horses. So I've said to Zach, go in, tell your grandmother that I'm here. I've run off after my daughter and actually unrugged horses before I've come back, and we're watching the smoke still coming over. So I'm saying to my daughter, don't worry about the horses, let's go. They're in a paddock that's pretty empty. Like, we try and keep our paddocks pretty low at this time of year because of bushfires, and we know how fast they move here. And she's saying, no, I've got a horse truck coming. There's a horse truck coming to get the horses out. And I'm going, okay, all right, no worries. I said, I've got to go deal with your grandmother. Now, my grandmother's sitting there. She's going, but your uncle's saying the fire's not going to hit us. And I'm like, trying to hold my breath and be very, very nice about it, going, Grandma, it's not the fire that I'm concerned about. It's the smoke. You can't breathe this stuff. You are 86 with CPOD. You can't breathe this stuff. Just get in the car and let's go to safety. She sat there and she said, no, he says the fire's not going to get to us. And I'm like, if you do not get in the car, I'm going to deadlift you into the car. And then we're going to have a conversation. By this stage, my son has actually just gone, Gran, I've got your handbag, I've got your paperwork, and he's headed to the car. My grandma gets her little walkie mobile and she's like, oh, if you insist on me leaving. Well, it was about 2 days later, when I actually had calmed down from her refusing to get in the car, that I'm explaining to her, you cannot breathe in that smoke at your age with your medical condition. And she's like, I didn't even think about that. And I went, no, you didn't, but I did. So in all the chaos and flurry of being told to leave my home, and I also have another house a couple of kilometres down the road that my ex-husband's sisters live in, and they got to watch an act. And it was like, as soon as that hit, I just said to them, I rang and said, just go, grab your personal details that you need to grab and just go. I said, I can replace a house. I can't replace a life. So they had politely got in their car and left, and they were panicking because the fire was down their way. But during the time that the fire was burning towards them, we had arsonists actually lighting 11 fires along the way, and they all converged into one to create the perfect firestorm. So that was November 1st. So we evacuated 2 kilometres up the road to a higher point where the smoke was actually blowing totally in an opposite direction. And we were sitting outside this fence line waiting for the horse truck, waiting to see my daughter and her partner get out of the fire zone. And this lovely lady walked out and said to us, would you like some water? And then she noticed my grandma in the car. She said, well, hang on. Forget the water, bring your grandma inside. We've still got power, we've still got air conditioning. So we went into this lovely lady's house. No idea who she was, didn't know her from anything. So a stranger acting absolutely wonderful to somebody who was in a situation that they couldn't avoid. Well, it turns out 2 days later, I also was at work and I thought I'd love to get something to say thank you for this lady. So I went and grabbed her a $25 voucher from a coffee cafe and said, have morning tea on the 3 refugees from the fire. Well, I got a message a couple of days later from her and she goes, my daughter actually works with your daughter in the race industry. I was quite surprised. It was absolutely wonderful and made a whole new connection of a lovely lady that I didn't know beforehand. But while we're at this property, we have a horse truck coming to get 5 horses out. The horse truck turns up at this property and the guy jumps out and he goes, I'm here to rescue 5 horses, but I can't see any horses here. And I said, No, but I know where you should be and you need to follow me now. And back into the fire zone I went. So here we are on the 30th of November. It's scorching hot. It was 120 degrees here. We are heading back into a fire zone choked with smoke, and we're loading 5 horses onto a horse float, onto a horse truck. 2 of these horses have never been trucked in their life, but they knew that something was up. So they led nicely onto the horse truck, and they actually went back to the race stables. Now, these horses have been out of the race stables for at least a year, but being that they are ex-race horses, straight away went into racehorse mode. So that was the fun and games of then bringing them back 3 days later and readjusting them to paddock life. So it's been a very big trial since then, because they got the fire that threatened our homes out on the 30th, and then they reignited on the morning of the 1st of December, which was another hot, blustery day. Our trees grow sideways. They have learnt to grow sideways to actually adjust with the winds. So we had strong winds coming from the east, which were hot winds anyway. They were pushing the flames towards very, very populated suburban neighborhoods, and we were like, just everyone was praying. We couldn't go back into our house or our neighborhood because we were still in an active fire zone, and still on an active, you cannot enter this section of the town. So we're watching the fires from my grandma's place, who was just outside of the active fire zone, and we're watching the flames. Now, we could see the flames from her house, and the flames were 5 kilometres away, and they were 70 feet tall. They went over a bridge or 2 bridges and through a river gully. Driving through there the following day, because we were actually shut off. I couldn't even get to work on the Monday. I actually had to ring my boss and say, I'm sorry, but I can't come to work. And she goes, why is that? And I said, well, I can't go home and I've got no clothes, and I don't think you want me turning up in my cleaning clothes. And she was like, yeah, no worries. All right. Well, she called the other co-worker in. The following day, the Tuesday, we were finally able to come home, and I was able to get clothes and go to work. Our first client said to me, something smells like it's burning. And I just looked at her and I said, I'm sorry, that would be me. Because we were doused in smoke, and we still are trying to get the smell of smoke out of everything. It is still, with the winds that we've had and still blowing through all the burnt out area, we are still getting quite thick, like dust and ashy clouds, and it's not a really nice time of year to have fires. Well, that was the first weekend of December. The second weekend of December, okay, we were set. We didn't have any more fires, but minor little things and, the usual stuff. Well, come last weekend, it was not last weekend, the weekend before, we had hell to pay here in WA. We had over 200 fires burning in our state. And I will say I appreciate everyone that has sent me messages saying they were sorry to hear what happened in Bondi. But I can honestly say we had no clue what was happening in Bondi. Bondi is 5 days east of us. So we had no clue. We were too busy worrying what was happening in our own state and trying to make sure that we were going to stay alive. We had massive fire fronts from the south to the north. We were all on constant alert. Every little tiny thing that you saw, if it looked like smoke, you rang and reported. But during this, because we lost our power, we actually lost all communications, which was the hardest thing. Our phones didn't work. Our apps didn't work. We had no way to contact emergency services except for the good old CB radio in the car. Now, during all of this, my ex-partner and I, being the friends that we are, we decided that, okay, if anyone needs help, we're there to help them. We straight out went up and got generators set up for elderly people so they could at least run their fridges and have fans. We made sure everyone that we knew was okay, and then we put out over the two-way, does anyone need help? Is there anyone that needs any help in the area? Well, we got a two-way call from a fella who was actually out on a mine, and he said, look, my mother-in-law's generator is running out of fuel. It powers her whole house. It's this massive generator, $30,000 worth of generator. It takes 80 litres of diesel fuel. So here we are in the middle of one of the hottest days, heading up to the farm to pick up 80 litres of diesel, put them in jerry cans so we can go and help this lady keep power to her house and so that she's comfortable. We had no clue who this lady was, never met her in my life. And we get there and we were told, oh, she probably won't even come out the house. Well, I look to my left as he's walking into the shed to start filling this generator, and there's this little old lady that's no higher than about 4 foot, toddling along and coming over to us going, oh my goodness, you don't have to do this. And I'm like, well, yes, we do. We were asked to help, and here we are. We're helping you anyway. So accept the help, smile, and say thank you at the end of the day, and have a blessed holiday season, as we told her. Now, the next day, we got our power back. After 36 hours, we spent 2 days this month without power for at least 29 and a half and 36 hours. And in that time, we had no clue what was going on in the world. There was no apps. When I could get signal, I would send a message out to Ginn and all that and say, hey, we are safe. But yeah, we'd be up on the hill and we'd actually get a little tiny bit of bounce signal. And if I could get a message out in that time, we were good. But we couldn't get a phone service. We had nothing at all. We were all sitting here going, what's coming next? Because you didn't know. Now, we here in Australia have this thing that says be bushfire ready. Take 15 minutes to make a bushfire action plan. Well, our action plan is to always leave. You can't stay and fight a fire when you don't have water and you don't have power, because nothing works. Sure, like some people stayed, some people managed it fine because it went nowhere near them. But for other people, we did have people lose their homes in that fire. There was one house in particular that was totally gutted, a shed, and there was a few cars damaged. And there's one house that has since been declared unlivable because of the damage from the actual fire and embers that had seeped in through the ceiling and all the rest of it. So they are now homeless at Christmas time, which is very sad. Our community has rallied together to get them into a caravan at least, so they have that. We've rallied together to get them clothes and everything else that they need. Now, the thing that came out of that was the fireys actually on their door left a note that said, we are sorry we couldn't save your house.
Oh, man.
They were so gutted that they could not save that house. But they had no idea that there was embers in the roof and actually burning the actual house down from the inside. Until 2 days later when we were able to return to our homes, and then we find all the destruction that happened. Now, during the time of the fires, even worse, during the time of the fires, there were 47 break-ins in our area alone, not including the suburb lower than us, and they had a record number of 187 break-ins, which was very sad. You think people were already going through a hard time, and then they do that. So right on Christmas, you can well and truly imagine. So our community at the moment has rallied together and we all stand as one. And sadly, it was discovered it was arson, and it was 4 11-year-old children that started a fire that displaced 1,600 people, put 670 residences into the fire zone. And a school. So it was devastating to find out it was children that were starting these fires. Sadly, it is what it is, and most of the fires that happened after that first weekend were lightning strikes. We had terrible lightning storms, and that did really create let's say, it felt like an apocalypse was happening right here in our home state. Like everywhere you looked, it was just the the sunrises were what we call a bushfire sunrise and a bushfire sunset. So it was red, dusty, and it was just dramatic. And everyone was like, what's coming next? What's coming next? So that's the rundown on my state and how we've been for the last month. We've all been living pretty much on tenterhooks, waiting for the next disaster to come along. Now we are nigh on the eve of Christmas, and we have a cyclone to the north of us. We have a record heat wave warning being put over us for the next week, which is, what we normally put up with here in WA anyway. We normally get record heat and Christmas, and our Christmas is not spent with a white Christmas and cold. It's spent with a white Christmas on the sand of the beach, which I think everyone is heading there today, actually.
Well, what an adventure, man! I mean, that's a lot. That's I live in the mountains of western North Carolina, and fire is a risk here as well, of course, in the forest. And I have seen on the other side of the mountain, I've seen it when the other side of the mountain that my house adjoins was on fire, and you could see it coming over, the mountain. And that's a pretty eerie sight.
It's an eerie thing, right? Like,
yeah.
It is eerie,
Wow.
especially at
smell it,
night when you can
feel
actually see the glow, but you can't see how close it's moving. And that's the fear. Like, that's when the fear factor kicks in.
When you can smell it, you know it's a problem.
yeah. Oh, when I was driving back from New Mexico, the whole freeway was just surrounded by mountains on fire, and it took an hour to get through that, and it was just everywhere, and it was quiet. That's the weird thing. Everything's on fire. It's quiet and it's smoky. Yeah.
Wow, man.
It's very eerily quiet. Yes, that's for sure. And it takes days for the wildlife to come back out. Like, we actually have now 6 or 7 little birds that actually come into our back porch at night, and they actually sleep in there because their home's gone.
Yeah.
It's not just the toll it takes on the human lives and the humans, it's nature. Where the fires actually burnt through is actually a natural reserve. So it's a protected land because there is species there that don't grow anywhere else. Sadly, but they will regrow because that happens here, and Australia, as my daughter says, is a country that is set to burn. And that's how it's always been. Like, we have trees eucalyptus trees that are just oil.
Yeah.
We have the grasslands in the Midwest, as Tick was pointing out. And also, there's, like Ash was saying, the desert areas are prone to fire, and then you got out far west with the forest. Anywhere there's a forest, you're at risk of fires. It's kind of the fuel for, but it's part of the life cycle for some conifers. It's part of the life cycle for different types of scrub oak and stuff like that, or shrubs, I guess they would be described as. But it's part of nature's life cycle. I mean, there are literally adaptations that keep trees and bushes and stuff alive and propagate through fire. So
exactly,
that's part of the cycle.
We actually have a tree here that sets itself alight. It actually will spontaneously combust and start a fire. So that's also another factor that comes into Australian play. We actually have this self-igniting tree. It's terrible. But we thankfully don't have those in our area. They are more related to the northern part of Western Australia and the Northern Territory. So self-combusting trees, yes. The oils in them actually get so hot that they go.
So Spurs, changing gears on you just a little bit here, because you're in the context of all this, you're actually an incredible artist. A lot of people that know you on here know you for, I guess it's described as pencil art, using colored pencils and regular pencils and all of that. If I'm misdescribing that or misstating that, please correct me. But
That is
you're way
correct.
more than a pencil artist. You also do embroidery, and
I do.
you make these creative storyboards out of that are tactily nice for kids that have that tactile issue going on.
That's right.
So you do a broad range of things. So let's start. Let's start with guitar straps just for funsies. So
Okay, guitar straps are fun.
So you and I have a collaboration going. And for those that don't know, I've started building guitars, electric guitars. A.S.H is one of the artists that has a line of guitars that will happen. But with those are going to come a handcrafted strap. And on those will be the patches of the folks who collaborate on the individual guitars. And you are doing all of that. And those patches, to my understanding, and please correct me because this is all still in the works, but if my understanding is, they will eventually be available, I believe, on your website.
They will. Yours will be. Severed's will be going to Severed, and it depends on each individual artist if they would like to order their own patches and then distribute them how they want. They can. So that's perfectly up to them to choose which way they want to go, whether they want me to just put it on I'll probably do the Etsy page because that's more globally accessible than having it on a website. Yeah. I find that most people will scroll through Etsy late at night and just impulse buy, depending on who they are. And if they see something that they really like, they generally gravitate towards it. And if they've got questions, they'll email you and say, hey, what's this about? And you go, well, that's another artist, and then you can hopefully generate some push towards them. And you can even, in the Etsy description, link their website and all the rest of it from what I've actually been discovering lately and doing a bit of research.
Right on. I still have an Etsy page, I believe. I just don't have anything listed on it. I did for a while, but it just... I don't know. It didn't have the time. It's hard to do a dining room table on an Etsy page, kind of. So,
that's for sure.
By nature of the things that I make, it's a little different ball game over here. But I love it. So the cool thing about it is every part of it we now have in house. Like every part of the process, the patches, the guitar straps, the guitars themselves, the artwork that will go on the guitars, the people who are going to be taking care of all of the media stuff and the social media stuff and all that are all on the same team now, which is pretty awesome actually. If you consider that 2 years ago, building guitars was something that I was going to do slowly and convert over and eventually, keep making
5 years down the track.
Yeah, it was a 5-year plan and we did it in 2. So, pretty awesome.
Speaking of the patches, we actually have already collated a range of Ginn Project patches. So
Nice.
Check it out. That's awesome.
That one is the square. And then we have the round. And that will come in white as well. I just don't have one accessible and grabbable right now. And then we have the standardized TPG, your imprint. And then we have it in the white. But then for special funsies, we actually have it where it is actually textured. I don't know. It is going to pick it up.
Oh, yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
It is actually textured like an old time nail that would have been in a barn where you got your nails from. So we have those ones that will be available in the new year. So
and it is the logo. We actually used that brand made out of nails from so many years ago is the actual, I literally burn it. That's
a standard patch. And then we have it in the round style, which is a standard patch. And then for Severed's specialty patch, we actually have it in a shaped metallic thread. It's all done with metallic threads like silver and gold.
That's awesome.
And the actual threads are coated in actual metal so that they actually properly metallic.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's
So we
cool.
have
That
those.
is so cool.
This morning I received Essay's logo and Kira's
Really?
logo, so that's some fun for me to work in my
awesome.
lovely week off. See, I work 51 weeks a year, and I'm also on call. So while I'm on call, if I'm sitting at home doing nothing, which is not very often,
Yeah, I was going to say,
I
you're
will
always
actually be working on creating these patches for the whole lot of the artists that are collaborating with Ginn, and I'm happy to do that. Normally there's a process of where if it's a logo for somebody, we would charge a digitizing fee, followed by we do a test stitch, get the customer to approve it and all the rest of it. But for the artists that are collaborating with Ginn, I am waiving that fee because, hey, we're all in this together. So I'm happy to do those. Most of the logos are pretty amazing, and I'm going to love working on them, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's what I've got going on for the Christmas break, and I am on call if anyone at work needs me for some stupid reason, like somebody brings and says, hey, we need 100 shirts by tomorrow. I will be there doing 100 shirts. But I might even take you along for the ride if I have to do that. I've taken you along for the ride into my big office a few times. Like, I work at home with baby machines compared to what I work with in the office. And I'm quite happy to do that. Like, I come home, I do the same thing at home. So 20 years of practical experience in the embroidery industry has led me to know what I'm doing. And if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to tell you I know what I'm doing, and then I'm going to work it out as I go. But yes, I have actually worked out the mythical thing of making a patch so it doesn't fray at the edge and all the rest of it. I actually use a high quality canvas material, which is waterproof. It's basically fade proof. It's strong, it's durable, it's going to last. It's going to outlast whatever you sew it on, basically. Unless you do something silly like leave it in a fire or put it out in the sun for 400 days or something silly. But that's what we do.
I love it.
Thank
I
you,
love it,
Stanford.
Spurs. It's awesome to get to work with you, Spurs. I just dig it. I love the ideas and just the way, and I dig the fact that two people on the opposite sides of the world can literally collab at this day and time. I love that concept too. There's some good questions in the chat. Brandy, and that's a good question, and it would be good to pick Spurs' brain on this. What are 3 features you think a logo should have? And Ash, I would ask you to think on that too, man, to get a response from you. What are the 3 features you think a logo should have? That's a good question.
Clearly, the first thing that I'm going to say any logo should have is clear wording. Straight out, clear wording. You need clear wording. If it's not concise and clear, people can't read it. And they're not going to get up and go, what's that say?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Stop
Because
using
that
those
is
Gothic
not-
fonts that you can't read. Stop.
Exactly. Nice, clear, readable font. For when you're doing a logo with what I do with stitches and with print is totally different. Print, you can have as much detail in it as you want, as many colors as you want. With embroidery, you want to keep it as basic and as easy as it can be because you want it to be clear. You don't want people squinting at your logo and walking right up and just think you're a lady. You've got a logo on your left hand side of your shirt. Do you want somebody walking up and sort of getting right up in your personal bubble? I don't. Me personally, if somebody walked into my bubble, I would be going, excuse me. But that's me.
It's very true. Number one,
the main things.
Clear font. Number 1, guys, listen. I know that you want it to look fancy and cool and all that, but if you can't read it, it's not effective. You need your logo to be legible.
Exactly.
If you're looking at bubble font, get help.
Please
You don't know what you're doing.
Bubble font is
You don't know what you're doing.
Bubble font is almost impossible in an embroidery thing because it's actually a 3D font. I can do it. I'm not going to say I can't do it because I can do it. It is just the most annoying process because you actually have to layer under it what's called a technical foam, and then it actually builds that 3D bubbling effect. And then you've got to try and go in with a slight little lining, which is more stitches on top of that, to actually create the look of being highlighted in certain areas. And that's when you become stitch upon stitch upon stitch, and it becomes very dense, it becomes very unworkable. And most machines would sit there and look at it and go, no, I'm not doing that. It's like, nope.
So
But,
number
yeah.
one is clear font. What are the other two tips you have, guys?
Keep it basic. People don't need to, when people look at a logo, they don't want to see this cluster of everything jammed into one. Keep it basic, keep it simple, keep it audible to what your business is. Like, most of us artists do have pretty technical drawing styles, and we use that as our logo. That's fine in print, but when you're thinking of a logo for a badge or clothing, keep it simple, just very, very simple. You don't need to be the most extravagant person out there, because artists, we are the most extravagant people. I know this for a fact because I get told it all the time. But we don't need to have something that's going to be sitting on our chest and actually making our clothing, when you wash it too, it sinks in. So if you've got a very dense logo, it will actually pull the clothing in, and then your clothes aren't going to sit right. So you try and, for embroidery styles, you keep it basic. For print styles, go extravagant, go elaborate, go big, go bold, go home. You know?
Yep.
I am going to say that one. If it's print, go big, go bold, go home. But when it comes to embroidery, basic, simple, easy, something that's just elegant, that people are going to look at, go, oh, okay, there's Eve's artistry. Cool. And
By
they're
the
going to
way,
actually
Eve,
look at it and read it.
send your logo to Spurs. I dropped you the email. All you gotta do is just send it to her.
And you can find all your
just
art needs
send it
at
to her.
evesartistry.com.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can get all of
can
your
find
needs at
everything
evesartistry.com except the logo that I need you to send to Spurs.
Same with
Please.
Ashman. You can find it at ashmansbasicartstore.com. But you can't find his logo there because I don't have it yet. But we will
thing
get
is,
there. Eventually,
I'm
everyone
getting
will
to-
get there.
I'm getting to this point too. The same thing that you're talking about, having to redo the artwork because it won't interpret over to embroidery. So I have to do the line
it's
art.
the
I'm not going to
hard
do
part.
all the stippling that I do. So that has to go away
See,
and do the line art
stippling,
so that it works.
You can.
Interesting.
I will say
Wow,
one
that's
thing that you
interesting.
can do with that. You can do shadowing, and I can actually
Yes.
incorporate that into broader stitching, which creates a shadow effect. But when
Yes.
it comes to little tiny dots, it'll just pull straight through into the machine, and
Yeah.
I'll be sitting there going, Ashman, I'm flying to Arizona. I'm going to have a talk with you. But yes, no, it's one of those things that's for stitchery. You need it basic. You need it clear,
Yeah.
concise. You don't need to be elaborate with that. You just want people to be able to look at you and go, Eve's Artistry, Ashman's Basic Art Store, the Ginn Project. You know, you don't want them to have to get up into your personal bubble to read 555 million lines of text in this little tiny 80 millimeter or 3.3 inch square. I'll
So-
even convert that one for you. So
So the other thing that I think is important in a logo, and I'm glad this topic came up because I've got a couple examples that I believe are. I think it has to have a personal touch as well. It's got to, like, people have to instinctually feel like it represents you, if that makes
Yes.
sense, kind of.
exactly.
So, for example, I got a hat recently from Maddie Pace, and I really like it. It's a ice cream cone form, but it's actually a brain in the cone, and it's got it's got a headset on it, and it's simple. It's just a few items, but it's embroidered. It is an embroidered hat. It's actually embroidered into the hat. It isn't a patch, But I believe, and y'all call me out on this, but I believe that's a great logo. It's simple, it's recognizable, and
Oh
it
yeah.
definitely reminds me of Matty Pace for sure. Like if you know anything about him, and then he,
Now, if
and
you
then
look at that logo, it's basic. It's 4 colors. It's blue. Well, it's actually cyan, magenta,
Yeah.
yellow, and black. That's the simple technical version, which is
Yes.
great.
And in sticker version, it looks great too. There's a little more detail. He's got like a beanie style cap. He's got a regular ball cap, but it's the same imagery, the same type of thing, and it's the same thing. 3 or 4 simple colors, simple
That's
patterns.
what we do in cartooning too. Cartooning, it's 3 to 4
Exactly.
colors. Logo design, 3 to 4 colors.
This one
You're
is
welcome.
Jason Woodward, guitar player friend of ours. And it's cross guitars with
Love
a
it.
skull kind of redneck dude in a hat. I mean,
yeah.
it's very recognizable. I've actually been to a bar where Jason was playing, and I was able to see him all the way across the bar because of the logo on his hat. And he was actually able to see me all the way over on the other side. And so, same thing. Very simple.
Perfect thing about Jason's, it's simple. It only has like white little details, which originally you would do a full black background and then you would just add the white details. That is brilliant. That is what embroiderers love to see. Like, it's an easy logo. It's not a hard press logo. If it was something where you had several colors going over that, it would be very difficult to interpret into an embroidery file.
I've seen artists who do amazing work, Spurs and Ash. You might both be able to speak on. I've seen artists who do amazing work, but when they make their logo, it's almost like they try to put every thought in their brain in their logo. And I get it. Like we worked through a lot. We were gonna use a different logo on the headstocks of the guitars, and came up with all different designs, all different and we always went back to that simple, like literal. It's actually a brand made out of literal nails from the very first barn that I took down, and I heat it up with a torch and brand it. It comes out, and
Exactly.
it's personal, it's recognizable, and it's simple. So that's the other thing I would say is the personal touch has to be related to you. So I sometimes see people make logos about an idea they believe in or about something that or maybe even an artist that they admire, and they incorporate something, and it makes it less personal to them oftentimes. I'm not saying it can't work. I'm simply saying
I used to work in logo design for a silkscreen company, and the person that's on the phone would say, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, and I want this. And you're like, that's an impossible task. That's an impossible task.
Exactly.
And you have to trim it down to basics, but explain who you are and what you want to be. And that's a hard art, really.
It is a very hard art to take something that was something so intense back and strip it back to bare basics is basically how it's put. Like when I do a digitizing, I actually do it in layers. So you have your base layer, which could be the background color, and then you build your layers on top of that. But then I have to etch out holes in all of that to make sure it doesn't become something that's going to be too heavy or something that's just not going to be workable. And it's a hard balance between too little and too much.
Yeah.
So when it's a basic thing that you're trying to get across to people, and it's your logo, but you don't want it to be overworked. And when you overpunch material, it weakens the material, and then your clothing doesn't last as long either. So that's another factor to think about when you're actually doing things like a logo. Like, you see a lot of the actual companies that probably walk around, I'm not sure in your country what logos you see around that are embroidered on people's clothing, but we have things like Diab and Iluka and all of that here, and they're basically just a simple little logo with their logo, their name, their little symbol, and that's it. They don't go overboard. They don't sort of. But then you get the city councils, and their logos are so intense. They are just beyond the point of where you're sitting there and you're going, why? People aren't going to look at that on your shirt. They're going to look at it and go, too much, and keep walking. They're not going to look at it. Like I have noticed that a lot in modern day logos, that everyone is trying to go for everything in their logos, but then you strip it back to bare basics and you show them a bare basic thing and they go, I now understand why you're saying go back to bare basics, because it's so hard and intense.
Look at the Nike swoosh. It's just a swoosh, and it's identifiable, and everybody knows what it is. The Lacoste
And
gator,
copyright.
very
Adidas, three stripes.
Adidas, yeah.
Highly
it's
copyright, and no, I do not embroider those.
yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of people I have come to me and say, can you do me a Disney princess? And I look at them and go, no, I'm not licensed to do Disney, and I don't want to lose my home. I like my home.
You don't want to go up
I've
against
lived
Disney.
here for a long time. No. And I
have a
don't
lot
think I
of
want to
resources.
pay exuberant amounts to be able to sell Disney products. But I have fun with what I do. Like, as close as I'm getting to the snow this year is actually this little fella, and he's a snowball. He's part of my
That's
snowball
awesome.
fight.
Nice.
So this is my Christmas snowball. Like, when my children misbehave that are now adult children, I will stand there and throw the snowball at them and say, you're in the middle of a snowball fight, because they can still be pretty loud. And then I actually have one that I do as a lump of coal, and every 1 year they all got a lump of coal in their stocking.
That's awesome.
So that's the fun and games of what I do. Like, it's so much fun. Like, there's so many things.
And I think that's, see if I can explain this the way my brain thinks of it, but I think that's another thing that's amazing about the community we're all a part of, is collectively, if we're all, like, I learned a whole bunch already just from y'all, just right now in this little segment here. And, you know, we're talking about Disney, for example, right? It's hard to compete with entities like that because they suck up so much of the oxygen, and they have so many resources they can flood the market with things. And I'm oversimplifying here, but one of the beautiful things that I like about all of you guys that work together, all of us in the community that help each other out, is that is a counter to that power structure. Being able to come up with your own ideas and your own entities, your own little creatures and people and story. Kira's got a whole storyline and a whole world that she's going to unveil next year in New York on September 5th. A whole world. And it's influenced to a large degree by people that she knows and experience that she's had in her life, for example, right? So A.S.H had her event, you know, and she went from participating in events to having her own show and watching the whole community just kind of rally around her, and a bunch of folks like Ashman and Eve and Lenny and Chad show up at the event. You know, it was amazing. So I just keep trying to drive that point home because I'm convinced that it is true that collectively, if we all give some of our skill set to the greater community, then now we're on par. Like, maybe I'm biased, but I believe Ashman's artwork could stand up with anything I've ever seen on television or any cartoon I've ever seen or any of that shit. The only difference is Ashman doesn't have Walt Disney behind him. But what he does have is an amazing community of people that all do their part. And I believe what that does is allow us to capitalize on opportunities as they present themselves as artists. That was a long way to get there, but does that make sense?
The one thing I can say about this community, and the one thing that makes me proud to be part of this community, is that we don't gatekeep. If somebody asks us a question, we will openly answer you. If we can answer you, we're going to answer you. We're going to give you the advice that we know. We're going to give you the resources that you can possibly use to develop that skill. Or if we don't know, we're going to send you to somebody who does. Like if I was asked to teach you how to oil paint, I'm not going to teach you how to oil paint because I don't do oil painting. I'm going to send you to A.S.H because he paints like an old master. But if it was something like colored pencil advice you wanted, I'm more than happy to put my hand up and say, hey, yeah, sure, I can give you a hand. I can even do a tutorial for you to help you through the first initial stages. But then as you progress, you're going to progress at your own rate and you're going to develop your own style. Like I developed my own style. My colored pencil work looks like airbrushing. I do not use an airbrush either, so please don't ask me on airbrushing. Go to Eric the Airbrush Artist, go to Flex, go to Monique, or anybody else but me on airbrushing, or Ashman. Just don't ask Ashman about how to draw a bunny or balloons, please, because we don't.
I have
we
no
just
clue.
Don't do that.
I have no clue.
Or a mouse. Or a mouse. No, we don't ask for those things. Of course we do. We ask everybody, and none of us gatekeep anything, which is great. Like if somebody's lacking in something, or if they ask for advice, like just a common criticism of their work, we're happy to give constructive, concise criticism, but not to the point of where we're going to say, hey, you're not going to make it, just give up now, because that doesn't happen. In my world, it doesn't matter how you start. Like I started back in 2021 when I first picked up a pencil again and I went, oh, I'm just going to do realism. Hey, that's not a challenge in itself. Hey, no, I'm just going to do realism. There was days there that I went, why did I do this to myself? And then I sat there, I talked to a lot of artists, I watched a lot of lives, I've watched Alan Wilfred, I've watched so many artists that actually do realism. But then I developed my own style. Like their style didn't work for me, but parts of their technique did. And I went, okay, I'm going to pick that little bit, I'm going to take this from you, and then I'm going to twist it together in a little thread, and I'm going to do what I do. But see, it's the same with embroidery as well, because most people would just show you this part of the embroidery. So this is the front. This is beautiful. They wouldn't show you this. This is the back. This is what it looks like. It's not impressive. It's just where everything is bobbin thread and tied off. But when you look closely into the details in the front, you get all the colours and the shifts and all the layers. Like this has got layers and depths and
texture.
It's got everything. But most people, when they do things, they would put a cover over the back, so you can't see that. I'm happy to show you what it looks like on the back. When I make the badges, though they are a sealed unit, because I actually put a piece of stabilizer behind so that when they get sewn on, that there's no rough stuff actually rubbing over things either. So that's part of what I do. But I have developed that technique over years. Like I've worn embroidered clothes through work, and I've worn embroidered clothes that I've embroidered for myself, and I sit there and I go, some of the heavier ones I wouldn't like the texture rubbing on my skin at the first and best of times. So I just sort of go, wow, okay, let's develop something that's going to make this easier. Let's let people know to keep it simple. And then they're going to keep it a bit simple.
Yes,
so it's...
if he ever starts playing music again. So here's another example. You know, in a lot of ways, Spurs, you're a mentor. Like, right? That's another commonality. But here's the difference. Spurs doesn't just tell you information if you don't ask it. Like, she ain't just going to come in your live and start blurting out how you should be doing stuff.
That's what I do.
That's not mentorship. That's being an asshole.
I'm sorry, but no, that's not my style. My style is I will sit there, I will happily watch, and if somebody says, like I sit in people's lives, obviously. I sit in A.S.H and I watch some of the comments that roll through on A.S.H and some people suggesting things, and I'm sort of like, great suggestion, but maybe message the actual creator off of their live. Don't sort of sit there and criticize them in their live while they're doing their thing, because that, to me, I would sit there and I would look at that and I'd go, I'm done. See you later, and end my live. But where Ashman, he just continues on, but he also doesn't look at the comments as much as that he, or one of us will mute the comment, which is really nice. But for me, when I'm live, generally most of you are all sleeping or meant to be sleeping. You know, the human thing, the human cycle, where most people normally sleep. But for me, I sit there, I can walk into somebody's live and actually sit there and watch them and think, maybe I could suggest that they try this, but I'm not going to go into their live and go, hey, try this. I'm going to discreetly message them and say, hey, have you ever seen this technique tried? Maybe it might make it a bit easier for you to get the finish that you're looking for, and give them links. If I can give them a YouTube link, I'm happy to give them that. If I can't give them that, I'm happy to put them into contact with a book or something that can expand on that knowledge.
One of my favorite things was when you were modding for me, and I was being very, very tactful in how I was speaking to this guy, and I just kept going and going and going, and you finally went, he's being very nice to you right now.
my very tactful way of if you don't
being
be
very
quiet
nice right
now, I may just exit you to the stage left. Please take
Yeah,
your bow
it was
and
wonderful.
walk out the door.
It was wonderful.
Don't sit there and criticize people. And then if you had walked into his live and done the same thing to him, he probably would have been shutting down, going, I can't do this. But we as artists, we do get a lot of people that come in and tell us how to do what we do.
Yes,
But
we do.
It is what it is. And we smile graciously, but at the end of the day, we also think, hey, I've spent years developing this technique, and now you're telling me you don't like it? Well, it doesn't matter that you don't like it. 555 other people like it. So it is personal taste and it is everything else. But we also must remember that artists are human, and tactfulness is something that is graciously given to us, and we need to use it. Like, I wouldn't go into somebody's life and pick on them. They're going to come into mine and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing at play is it's very obvious to me that some people don't know the difference between boundaries and gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is not when somebody doesn't do what you want them to do. Gatekeeping is when they're holding information that has to do with your profession or your whatever it is that you're trying to do, information that they're not willing to share with you. Gatekeeping isn't when someone comes, you go to somebody's house and they don't let you in their house. That's boundaries. There's a difference. So there's one jumping off point is I think people sometimes get those confused, and then that makes for hurt feelings sometimes, I think. But I don't want to say too much but something happened amazing in the other day in our community. I was in a live that had MC, Coach, Harold, and Eve was in the chat, and my mind just went blank on who was running the chat. But Tick Tick, who is in the chat right now, for those that don't know, Tick Tick has Tourette's, like legit Tourette's. And you can see it comes across in the post sometimes even, but Tick Tick came up in one of the boxes during their painting session, and MCD hosted. Yeah, there you go. Salty Pepper. That's right. I'm sorry, Tick Tick. I couldn't remember, buddy. Salty Pepper hosted. Yeah. And it was so fascinating to watch these artists welcome this person up. Harold was curious because he didn't really understand. I think he wasn't really aware of kind of what it was and what it meant. And Tick Tick came up and kind of explained it. And every once in a while would say "fuck you" and flip people off, but nobody saw that as like a crazy thing or whatever. They understood
Nobody
it was
got
part
offended.
right. It was part of the process. So that's another thing that I believe happens when artists work together in a sincere and earnest way. That was one of the most earnest things I've seen happen in a long time on this platform, was him go up there and be that vulnerable, because that is a hell of a vulnerable position to be in. And then the people that were running the lives, for many of the same reasons that I don't just let anybody in my lives, they also don't just let anybody in their lives. But they invited Tick Tick up, and that was a wonderful exchange. But I think that part of the reason, I think the fertile grounds that can nurture something like that are when artists collaborate sincerely. Yes, and that isn't go into somebody's live and tell them, unless they ask you. If they ask you for your advice, then give it to them, but you can still be tactful. But what Spurs was describing is, if you see a way that you could help or give advice or whatever, especially if it's unsolicited, maybe just send it to them in a message or something like that.
It's called being discreet and without malice. It's called
Tick Tick.
sharing an experience, and maybe people don't know about different styles. Maybe they've developed their own style, but that would benefit them if they actually were able to see somebody putting that similar style but in a different way. It's just called being discreet, friendly. Like, start the conversation with, hey, I popped by your live. I love the way you were doing this. I noticed that you were struggling a little bit with something, and maybe this reference may be able to help you, rather than just being rude and slap them in the face and go, hey, your work looked like... And because people don't generally take very well to people saying stuff like that to them. Right. I wouldn't take very well to somebody just stepping into my messages saying, hey, you didn't do that very well, and here, that's my criticism. And I'm like, well, give me something that I can look at, that I can build that skill on.
Yeah. Right.
Like, right. I'm one of those people that will actively talk to a person while they're actually doing the live and say, hey, I'm loving what you're doing there. I'm also an artist, and we generally get into a conversation. I actually had one guy say to me, well, what kind of coloured pencils do you use? And I went, well, I actually use Faber-Castell. And he was like, okay, I've never tried them. I said, well, maybe get a small packet to try first, like a 12-pack, and see if you like the texture of them. Or you could try Prismacolor, or, and went through a whole plethora of pencils that he could actually try, because not one pencil is going to work for everybody. Like, I have pencils everywhere. You're not going to look at that, because I have pencils everywhere.
Yeah.
We've talked about this publicly, so I know I won't hurt Eve's feelings at all. But another example that comes to my mind this year is Eve upped her game and her art. And some of that, I happen to know, came from conversations with Kira. Some of it was inspired by the guy right here, A.S.H. Man. She part of it was sorting out. She's got 600 and some odd instructional videos, right? The teacher, the mentor. But her art that you would want to put in a gallery or have for sale is a completely different type of art. It's a different mindset. It's a different thought process than what you're making for someone that you're trying to teach to someone, right? Like, I've done 2 lessons with her. I did my Elliot and I did my Penguin Crow. And it is remarkable how much knowledge she has. But even as knowledgeable as she is, it took a couple other artists like A.S.H. and Kira to go, hey, I think there's this other part of you that could be unlocked if you thought about it this way or if you approached it this way. And I believe that we saw Eve go through an evolution in how badass she is as an artist right in front of our eyes. Or am I over describing that?
No, you're describing it perfectly.
I've also seen a woodworker start to draw.
And paint. And paint.
Y'all don't know this, but my second job is now Ashman Forgeries.
Yes. And they're amazing. I'll be first in line when you start selling.
Well, it's part of the process for me is truly trying to understand what y'all go through more, right? In part to do better interviews when I have the opportunity to speak with you, but also to be a better craftsman, to be better at what I do for a living, which is make things. And again, sneaky cat sticker. That's coming, I'm sure. I'm sure Ashman's got designs and play with that. But it is the collective of everybody, right? It is you guys teaching me and guiding me over the last 2 years, through conversations, through interviews, through projects that we've worked on. Yeah, right on, Laura. All of that kind of stuff, right? And it comes out of a giving. It comes from giving hearts, from people who have a collaborative mindset. Every person that we're talking about, I have seen, like take A.S.H for example. I've seen her take the stage as the front person and then work on other projects where nobody even knows she's working on it. She's the quiet person behind the scenes. I've seen her do both really well. And that's the important thing. If she only went out in front of people and put on a good face and worked hard, it wouldn't be nearly as meaningful if she wasn't behind the scenes working really hard for other people too. And Spurs is a shining example of that. To circle back to our guest tonight, Spurs is an absolute look. There is a very good chance that without Laura and Spurs specifically as moderators, I probably wouldn't do lives, flow states in the way that we like. Our whole structure is based on having people that are moderators that can handle the chat while we do our thing. Without them at all, none of it works. And
we
2
are
years
more
ago,
than happy to.
So the hope is that it elevates everybody, though, right? It makes us better at it, and then hopefully in return we make them better at what they're doing, or help create opportunities for people the other way. Hey Tim, what's going on, man? So I just I know that Spurs is an integral part of the Ginn Project, but I also know that she's hugely influential to people like Aaron and others out there that she looks after, that she wouldn't tell you about, but I know she checks on some folks. But that also is part of being community, right? Like Ashman and I and Laura and Kira had a meeting today about how we wanted to do the show and what best way to present things and what best way to present Spurs, and it was a collective effort. I mean, everybody, you can go back and watch the tapes of shows and see where people's suggestions play out. I think it's fascinating. Like, you go back and watch Ginn Project shows before Ashman was on, and then watch Ginn Project shows after he came on, and you can definitely see his influence on the show. He made it better.
Exactly. Now, there may just have to be a packet of coloured pencils slipped into a care package to Ginn, because I want to see the coloured pencil versions of all this starting to happen.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So we might just have to slip a packet of coloured pencils in there.
There you go.
Maybe a couple of art tutorials.
I got.
We'll
I got
have you
some colored
drawing
markers.
realism. And just for Tim McCoy down there in the comments, oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi,
He
oi,
normally
Tim.
goes Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. So oi, oi, oi.
Yes.
There we go.
Another good dude. It's
the national cry of all of us.
Oi, oi, oi. Yes.
Oi, oi, oi.
he does some amazing. I have a pepper mill that Tim made out of black palm that is absolutely beautiful. I use it every day in my kitchen. Every day. Every day I think of Tim at least once. I don't know if that's good or bad, but no, I'm teasing Tim. I'm just kidding, man.
Every time you use pepper?
It's always a good thought.
Now, are you saying Tim's spicy?
Tim's a little. Every once in a while, he'll pop in from Ireland or England or somewhere. He's one of them global traveling dudes. Don't let him fool you.
He needs to come down under and actually turn some of our lovely woods down here then.
Yes.
So, yeah, no. So definitely some pencils going in the care package to Ginn anyway. So there's a care package heading Ginn's way in the new year because I'm not going to send one over the Christmas silly season where everything seems to get lost in post. It's just not going to happen.
We don't want those to get lost.
So
we have a permanent product line and more coming that are Spurs Ginn Project collaborations. I think that is just absolutely amazing. So we have collabs all over the world. Spurs is literally on the opposite side of the world from us, and we still get to work together and communicate and all of that, which is amazing. Ashman, what do you have for Spurs before we let her out of here? Poor lady, we have had her captured for over an hour.
I just want to talk a little bit about her small drawings. Those are amazing. Those are amazing.
The really tiny things.
Yeah, the tiny drawings.
Yes.
Let me go this way. This is the funny thing. This is one of the lovely things for the instant cameras, like, the old Polaroid style.
Oh, yeah.
That's
wow.
It hangs
Look
out.
at that.
I don't think the lighting is the best in here at the moment. Let's see what I can do with that.
Right, Stanford?
I'm so glad you said that.
Damn,
dude. This
light.
is crazy.
There we go. Yeah.
Amazing.
Incredible.
So they are an inch wide by an inch or 2 inches high.
Wow.
So they're tiny. So there's my finger against it. And that's how big they are.
They're
It's
incredible.
tiny. They're definitely tiny. So those are
Eve
just
said I
the
quit.
ones I have in here. No, don't quit.
Don't quit,
Don't
Eve.
quit.
We
Don't
need
quit.
Don't quit,
No
Eve. We
quitting.
need you now. Come on.
There is no quitting in this game. This is just us.
No.
See, this is my other one. This is a normal photographic, just a normal photo.
Okay.
So there's those ones. And then we've gone on to, there's my realism for you.
Oh, wow.
I just shoved a dragonfly. I actually just pressed the dragonfly onto the piece of paper and shoved it in there.
It looks like it.
And there's
That's amazing.
This was actually a tutorial from a 1783 English art college. This rose. So I did a tutorial on how they showed the girls how to draw, and as close to colours as I could get to their colours back in the day. And then we have our cute little wildlife pieces.
Oh.
And then we have more mini art, and that one is a 3-inch high by 2-inch wide. And followed by these ones, which are the same.
Wow.
So these are really, really cute little characters. There's my cartooning for you. I am not a cartoonist.
That's pretty
Looks
good.
great to me.
Oh, I like the little fox.
Not a cartoonist. That one?
Is that a fox? Or
Yeah,
a cat?
that's very cute.
It's a cross between a fox and a cat. It's what it is. So, and then we have my attempt with wash paint. So this was just the Karataki gouache paint that I got a couple of weeks ago, just before the fires actually. And I thought, well, I'm sitting there and
Gouache.
Gouache. Yeah, gouache.
G-W-A-S-H? That's what I'm hearing. Gouache.
Gouache.
Huh. What is that? Is that like a type of watercolor or something? Or is that totally different? Or
It is a marriage between watercolor and
tempera,
acrylic paints.
maybe. Yeah.
Oh wow.
acrylic and watercolor. So it's basically plasticky, but when you can re-wet it, it's quite firm.
Watercolor.
This one is really nice. Otherwise, you've got the jelly style stuff that is like, it feels like acrylic, but like slime. It's not nice. That's my thing just goes, no, I'm not touching that. So that is my textural thing. Is I'm not a finger painter. Like, you couldn't see me I can with watercolors, I can with certain things, but I'm not going to be shoving my fingers into jelly gouache because that's just no. So we went on with those. And then I have the one that I finished just after the fires. Now she is only just
That is gorgeous.
Man, that's just
She doesn't show up very
pencils,
well in that,
y'all.
does she?
Colored pencils. Are you kidding me?
So this is actually
Oh my gosh.
That is gorgeous.
without the plastic. So she looks very real. And I love that piece. We ended up calling it Fox and Flame because, well, when I finished it, we were just at the end of the fires. So it was one of those things.
Man.
This year has been a year of discovery for some of my art, actually.
Oh, Dragon. Hey, Fish's foe. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Wonderful.
That was a fun little piece to do and absolutely adorable. So that has been some of the year's art, and this was a midnight sketch. You wouldn't believe it was a midnight sketch, but it was a midnight sketch. And I just roughly drew lines everywhere, and I just cross-hatched it so badly, and then the next day I went and got my blending sticks and went, no, I'm going to blend that out, and it actually turned out quite well. So I was absolutely happy with how that turned out. And then I had this fantastic idea. Don't get me wrong, fantastic idea. This book is thick as thick can be. Now, when I do little sketches and doodles and that sort of stuff, I like to make my sketchbooks look like a storybook. So the pictures sort of run on with each other. So there's the first page.
Oh my goodness.
And followed into the second page. And then I still haven't finished this one, but followed into the third page. Now, one day, if I ever have grandchildren, maybe they'll tell stories to my pictures. And I told my daughter that, and I said, well, I've got 3 children, so maybe I might have more than one grandchild. And she goes, just get them copied and paste them into books, and we can each have one. I just looked at her and went, that's the best idea I have actually heard. Now, amongst doing all of that, I have actually also been working on some inking pieces for a colouring book, which I did talk roughly about last year. So there's one of the first pieces.
Yes.
There's that.
That's
Hell yeah.
spectacular.
All the detail in there and all the rest. So that was the first piece. Because I'm going for a Mod Podge, throw it all together colouring book, we even put some Halloween in there.
Love it.
So I put some Halloween in there, and then we've gone back into some flowers, and I'm still working on a few of the other pages. I've also
great,
got
Spurs. That's so good.
a A5 that I am working on, and it's all going to be dragons.
Oh, whoa.
All little dragons
Yes.
doing lots of different things. So that has been the year of arting and creating, and besides creating huge big pieces and all the rest of it. Now, if we take a step back in time, this was one of the first realism pieces I did.
Wow.
That was back in 2023. So from there to this year's piece, we went from that into that. So over the course of 2 years, I can actually see where I have developed skills and where I have basically gone and made things a bit different. Now this is a huge big piece. There we go. And this little guy is sitting in a tree. He's just sitting in a tree. I haven't finished him yet, and then I've got all detail happening on his little denim dungarees and his knitted little jumper. And that piece, I love that piece because it takes me back to look at a child's wonder and everything that is around them and how much they actually enjoy it. And I sat there and I thought, in a world that has gone literally crazy and everything else since 2020, sometimes I like to go back into the child whimsy and the whimsical way of the Fae and just create stuff that is fun. And most people go, if you're going to sell art, you're not going to sell original characters. And I went, okay, I'm not looking at selling my art. I actually do it for me. And you're all along with my journey. So it's not like I'm sitting there going, I'm doing this for somebody or I'm doing that for somebody, because I don't. I do my art for me. It's my journey and I have the privilege to share it with you. Now, that's the non-gatekeeping part. Like, I'm happy to share my journey and take the criticism. I'm also happy to say, if somebody looks at my art and goes, how did you create that look? I'm happy to walk them through it because it's been a learning journey for me. So I'm happy to help them learn with what I learned to create what I do. Most people I have noted just go, no, that's not for me. Like, I've got other pieces here that I'm still working on for this year and other pieces that I have worked on. Once again, back to small art.
Wow.
That was absolutely beautiful. It was a challenge to get it to actually look like she was smelling the rose and standing out. And then there's things like that I do, which are just a lightweight little image that I just think of in my head. And then there's the ones that I'm still trying to finish. Like there's the traditional pin-up style girl.
That reminds me of something to be on the front of an aircraft or
The
something.
nose of a plane, yeah.
Yeah. I forget the lady's name. There's a lady that did a lot of those, actually. I can't remember.
I was watching the movie, I think it was called The Flying Bells. And it was based on a World War II, the ladies flying team. Anyway.
Oh,
Memphis
the Flying Bells. I'm with
and
you.
Yeah, and there was an English version that was done, and it was like the So I was watching that as I was walking through our house, because I don't actually watch TV, but it actually caught my eye, and I'm like looking at the plane going, oh wow, I could just see that. I really could. And then I ended up drawing it. And then my future son-in-law challenged me to something that sort of freaked me out a little bit, and because it's not my regular style, I'm not that deeper, darker artist.
Oh man, I love it.
That's great.
I misspoke there. Memphis Belle was a bomber crew. The Lady Bells were a flight team.
Yeah. This is his back tattoo. So he challenged me in ways that, like, I don't go into the deep dark side of the art, like it's not my usual style, but I am accepting the challenge and I am liking the challenge. I have actually reached out to a couple of tattoo artists to ask them how I can bring that piece to life for him, which is really great, and they have been very, very helpful. And then we have my little orc, who I still have to finish his arm. So he is a lot of fun. He's been a lot of fun to work with.
Dude, the horns. Can we see that again? Did you notice that, Ash? I know
yeah.
you did. I know you did. Oh man, look at that, dude.
Oh yeah.
I love it. That's
the fella that freaks most people out. I had somebody ask me who upset me when they saw me drawing an orc. I was like, what do you mean?
Ginn
they said,
did it.
somebody must have upset you. It's dark. It's not your style. And I went, I'm guessing that. And then of all the things, I decided to pick up a piece of scrapbooking paper one day, like, you know, your heavy scrapbooking card.
Incredible.
I decided that we were having mushrooms and eyes and all sorts of weird things. I've got the lips happening down there. But that's just a piece for when I'm not in the mood to create something that is a masterpiece. I'm just in the mood to shove some paint or some colour onto a piece of paper. So that's the piece that gets pulled out when I'm in that kind of mood. Like, if you know that you're not in the kind of mood to actually create your art, you just sort of step back and go, I have a slap happy piece. That's the way to call it, a slap happy piece, because that's just my happy place, to just shove some colour on a piece of paper every now and then.
Right on.
So that's where the journey goes, and it has developed over the years. Like this year, my children, for my birthday, bought me this lovely art table that I sit at now, and it's got lovely drawers under there and stuff just shoved in there. The only thing is it's a glass top and it loves to refract the light right back at me, and I'm like sometimes I'm going, So I've got to work out how to do the dulling down of that. So, but that has been an adventure for the year, and it's been an enjoyable adventure. And I've had so many people. I have actually been live 29 times and 30 times with you this year. So this is my 30th live for this year. So I've done 29 lives this year, and people have popped in from all over the world. Like, I love it when people pop in from all over the world, and sometimes the language barrier is a bit too much, and you're sort of going, and the translation doesn't correlate to what they're saying, and you're like, I don't want to offend you, but I can't really understand you. So it's been a wonderful year. Like, I've actually had people reach out in my messages and just say, hey, I love your art and keep going. And those little tiny things of encouragement are often the things that drive you through when you sit there and you look at your piece and go, and just shove it off to the side because you don't know what you want to do with it. You don't know where you want to go with it. It's like Ash, he's got a closet that he just shoves stuff in, which is now in the shed, I'm guessing.
I've seen him just chuck it. Chuck it.
Or just chuck it, yeah.
Yeah, just throw it across the room.
We all get the same. We do all get the same, and sometimes the motivation isn't there. And on those days, hey, I'm going to say still try doing some art, but just go back to scribble art or go back to mind-numbing art where you don't have to overthink and you don't have to make sure your proportions are all in detail and all in depth and all the rest of it. It's like, I've been into Kira's lives a couple of times, and she's done this cute little Halloween mouse, but there's something about it that she doesn't like. And yet everyone in the comments is loving this particular piece, but she's not liking it because it's not sitting quite right. And I'm sitting there going, as not the artist of it, I can't see what's wrong with it. I love it. I think it's beautiful. That's me. And she's going, no, it's just not quite right. So, and then she'll go back and look at it again, revisit it later on. I've got art that I've done that with over time. I've got 3 books of art sitting over there that I go, one day I'll look at that, and some days I just open a page, a random page, and go, okay, I can now see what I've done wrong, and go back and re-edit it, or go, it's not savable, and I'm going to turn it into something else. And turning things into something else is fun, because that is how this piece, my original piece, became. So she actually started off to be what was meant to be a beautiful lady. Well, now if you look at her, she is very zombified, and my fan is going to blow my page. And then it has gone into all like the voodoo styles, and like if you look at tiny little details, most of those details are less than a half an inch.
Mm-hmm.
So I just took little things and just put it all over it and went, for me, it was just like, okay, I can't salvage that, but I'm going to use this as a scribble page. Then I had a lady actually see it, and she ordered a print straight away. So that piece has actually been printed off of, and it was given as a gift to her. I was like, well, I'm happy for you, just to do whatever you want with it. So, but that was the fun bit about it. Like, it was a piece of art that I started. I had all these wonderful thoughts in my head of how she was going to look like an old-time French lady with the, the bonnet sort of thing happening, and it didn't work that way. It turned out that she didn't suit what I was doing. So I sort of squished her in a bit, made her look like her face was all cracked up, like she'd been buried under dirt, and then added voodoo, which is quite all right too. Like, we do get those days where our art doesn't do what we want it to do.
Yeah, happens.
I know, I've seen Ash do it too, so it's good.
Oh yeah.
Well, Uncle Knowing, thank you for coming in. I know that I saw Art Dad in here, another great dude in the community. We interviewed it a couple weeks ago, if you're still in here. And we caught a restriction quite a while ago, and there's still a few folks in here. So thank y'all very much.
We caught a restriction.
I believe it was around the time we were talking about ghosts, and I'll say it again. I don't give a shit. Give me another restriction. That's fine.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, whatever it was, around that time, I believe is when we got it. It doesn't matter. It'll be over when this show is over.
We love the restrictions.
The fact that you got to almost 40,000 and you kept double digits in the room, even under a restriction, is pretty good, Spurs. Not too bad. Not too bad. Outlaw.
Well, the fun thing about restrictions, if we're not getting a restriction, then what are we doing wrong?
We're doing
Right.
something.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
Like, we're
Right.
used to these restrictions.
Well, the good
Have
news.
they ever not learnt that they cannot restrict the Spurs? Like, I'm not
Right.
compressible. I am me.
Thank you, Lord Woven. Appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed it. Glad you came in. We do this every week, 9:00 Eastern time, whether we need to or not. We usually have an artist on. Sometimes we have a panel discussion type thing. Tonight we were lucky enough to have Spurs on, who is one of the instrumental people actually behind the scenes in the Ginn Project, has been for a long time. So it's always cool to have Spurs on. She's one of my favorite people on the platform. Anybody that knows me and Spurs get along all right. So appreciate you coming on.
We bounce a lot of ideas. You're welcome. Thank you for having me for the Christmas wrap-up.
Absolutely. I've been looking forward to it all year. Spurs is the Christmas person. We don't even have to schedule her. If we're doing it next year still, Spurs will be the Christmas person.
Now, am I right that we're going to get the New Year's kickoff with Jerry D?
Jerry will be the first person on in the new year. That's right. Absolutely will be.
Wow. Now, that's a hard act to head up because he is a darn awesome sculptor.
Yes.
And if you haven't seen Jerry D, you need to actually see him. It's really good.
And he's been doing it for a short amount of time. It's amazing.
I know, right?
Amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, Toasted Metal, good to see you. So I really appreciate everybody coming through tonight and supporting Spurs and hanging out with us. Even if we were catching restrictions, y'all were still coming in here hanging out with us, which is awesome because still seeing new people come through, and we got in trouble with the TikTok. So the last time we had that problem, it didn't matter. I was still able to download everything. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
It's been an absolute wonderful year. We will continue on into next year.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Tick. Sometimes when we talk about a particular product or product lines or say something like the Ginn Project Official at Gmail, you can catch a restriction because it says that you are trying to send somebody off the platform. You gotta, and you gotta be careful. So it's all good. There's all kinds of ways.
Laura just picked up it dropped when you were showing your brand.
Heard that. Yeah. My own brand.
See that heading up there?
Project. Right on. Yeah, and well, that's happened before. I've had that happen before. I wonder why I didn't just hear your email. What was that again? So it's the Ginn Project Official, and then you just go over to that mail place that has the Gmail place, and that's it. Ashman, what you got, man? Take us out here. What you got? Talk to us.
Well, I'm just happy that we got to spend some time with Spurs because she's always down in the basement doing all the hard work. So it's nice that we get to hang out with her at the end of the year. So I'm just happy about that.
It's a wonderful way to finish. It is a
Yeah.
wonderful way to finish the year. So, yes, I'm quite happily normally in the basement, not seen by anybody, and showing people the exit. So, as long as you behave, as long as you're nice, you're not going to get shown the exit. So,
There you go.
let's all just stick with that one.
And I'll back whatever she does. Her and Laura, they do what they want, and if they throw
Exactly.
you out, don't call me complaining because
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand behind them. If they threw you
Gotta
out, they
take
did
their
it for
side.
a reason. Yeah, I'm always
Yep.
gonna take their
No,
side.
if you
so,
call
yeah.
complaining, it goes through to HR, which is HR's in the chat down there. And then when HR doesn't want to deal with you, she sends you to the land down under. And we're called Van Diemen's Land for a reason. We have special treatment for people like that. We really do.
Well, Spurs, as you know, we play the song out that our buddy Black Country made us, and I usually show some art. And Ashman either shows art or does puppetry or just leaves or whatever. Ashman does what the hell he wants. I would
does
highly.
what Ashman does.
That's right. Ashman has the keys at the Ginn Project. He roams the halls and does whatever he likes. What is your favorite color, Spurs? It's green. I already know that. That's a good one, though.
I'm
Thank you,
going
Eve.
to pop it into the chat for Eve. There we
Tears
go.
on it.
I came up with
There
that
we
one
go.
with Haley. Because my favorite color is actually teal, and we don't have teal.
That's as close to teal as we can get. So if you would, please drop those teal hearts in the chat. Eve, do your magic and please get us some screenshots. And Ashman, turn on your notifications for this guy. He does lives on occasion. He's busy lately, so who knows when he's going to be on, but he will be on, in fact. I am going to start trying to get back into rhythm and doing some late night lives. Thank you all so much for dropping those hearts. That's awesome. I'm gonna start doing some late night lives and some daytime stuff. I got a couple trees out here to mill up, and my wife is home, so I'm allowed to mill. So I might make that happen in the next week or something if I can shake this cold and not drool all over y'all. So, appreciate everybody
drool on us.
I appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out. I know that normally on a live we'd shout you out, but on these shows we try not to do that as much so that there's not interruptions in the footage there. So appreciate everybody. Fish is Phil, always good to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming in, man. Severed Art, always good to see you. Gotta go check out Severed Art. We got a collab going. Mama T, good to see you. Thanks for being in here. Smoky Mountain Texan, thanks for being in here. Tick, always good to see you, my brother. Kira, nothing but love for you, lady. Then we got the great Spurs and Eve's Artistry, y'all. Y'all, if you don't go to evesartistry.com, and I don't care, TikTok, go to evesartistry.com. You can get some stuff
and
there.
Ashman's Basic Art Store, where you
Oh,
can
yeah.
get stickers and wonderful pieces of artwork.
Yes.
And if you don't
But no
go,
logos.
they can send you to Australia to me, and I'll make you go. No, definitely drop by evesartistry.com and ashmansbasicartstore.com and check out what they do have. They are amazing artists. Check out Laura Jean. Check out Severed. Severed's amazing as well. Just one thing, take care of each other. Just share the love, because this year's been hard enough as it is, and we can all use a little extra love around this time of year. So share that love out. Make sure everyone's as comfortable as they can be, and just be patient with people, because patience is key, because we don't need to be grumpy with everybody. We actually need to share a few more smiles around the place.
Yes.
Remember that.
Agreed.
Yes. Leave room for your friends to do what they got to do. Just, try to show them some love. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do for somebody. So thank you, everyone, for coming in and hanging out with us. Thank you especially to Spurs for all that you do at the Ginn Project and for sharing your journey with us and telling us about the crazy fire that you went through twice and all your artwork that you've accomplished this year. And Brandy is in the chat. And Brandy was in that one that I was talking about with Tick the other day with Harold and Coach and that crowd and Salty Pepper and MC. And everybody confused Brandy with Severed. And there was a whole conversation going on. They were all excited that Severed was in the chat, thinking Brandy was severed. And that was also entertaining, I have to say. Because Brandy's like, no, I'm not severed. Severed is Brandy, but I'm not severed. Anyway.
That was not awesome, she says.
That was not awesome. I saw you, Tick Tick. Fish's Foe, good to see you, man. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. We're going to play you out now. Please go check out what Spurs has going on. Please go check out what Ashman has going on. If you look in my link tree in my bio, you will find all of these artists there. There's links for these folks. There's a link for Chad. There's a link for Johnny Ray. Please look out for your neighbors. This time of year, I'm gonna do a little bit of essay artistries right here. This time of year, as both of these folks mentioned, is difficult for people. People are going through a lot. A lot of the times, when someone has lost someone close to them, it really shows up in their life this time of year. A lot of the times, seasonal depression happens this time of year over here where we're at in the winter seasons. And we lose 22 veterans a day and have since I was in the service, and I hadn't been in the service since the 90s. So there are a lot of hurting people out there. So be kind, be patient. If the thought goes through your head to say something mean or don't say anything at all, then maybe this time just don't say anything at all. Give them a little room to sort things out. Man. So thanks, everybody. We appreciate y'all very much. Thank you to everybody in the chat, especially Tick Tick. Thank you for that share you did with those folks the other day. That was a beautiful thing, man. That was cool to see. Thanks, everybody. Kira, know we love you. We're going to play you
Love
out
you guys.
now.
Happy holidays.
Man, do what you do. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Solstice. All of those things. Whatever you celebrate, do it with love and joy in your heart. Appreciate y'all. Spurs, thank you for coming on. Always good to see you, my
You're
friend.
welcome.
Now,
Stay amazing,
go on,
everybody.
Go on, y'all. Get.
He calls the wolf with the steady hand. He's got the magic, the master, the mask. Ashman by his side with a joke or two. They're building dreams in a world of blue. The Ginn Project, where the soul takes flight. Chats in the corner, keeps it all tight. MC Haley, Beth, keeps the groove just right. The Ginn Project, guitars burn bright. Sawdust flies like a desert storm. Crafting tones that are rich and warm. Ashman's laugh echoes through the shop. With chat sharp wits, they never stop. It's not just tools, it's a family thing. Every note they build starts to sing. The Ginn Project, where the soul takes flight. Chat in the corner, keeps it all tight. MC Haley Beth keeps the groove just right. The Ginn Project, guitars burn bright. Strings hum like a river's moan. Each fret a story, each chord a home. Haley's voice is the spark in the flame. Together they rise, they're changing the game. Strings hum like a river's moan. Each fret a story, each chord a home. Haley's voice is a spark in the flame. Together they rise, they're changing the game.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays, everybody. Much love to you.